Hello, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Connect Africa. We're just 5 minutes late. Sorry, that's a technical issue. But yeah, here we are here again to discuss about the upcoming election in Kenya 2022, which is going to happen in August. But today it's particularly on the young presidential aspirant brother Pigbin Odimwengu, who is running for president in the upcoming election. Welcome, my brother.
Thank you, Marit. It's a pleasure always to connect with you and to get back and discuss what it takes for our African continent. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
All right, then. So I'm going to give you a chance to tell about yourself. First, before we go to, other questions, quickly, please tell us who is Pigbin Odimwengu and why running for president. Just tell us about yourself quickly.
Thank you very much once again. My name is Pigbin Odimwengu. Pigbin Odimwengu was born in a county called Homa Bay County, in the lakeside of Lake Victoria in Kenya. I was raised in the tea farm of Bomet County, in the tea farms of whites called the Finlay's Tea Farm. After that, I did my high school and, of course, went to my university at a county called Embu, where I did my Bachelor of Education Arts at the University of Embu. I also served in leadership capacity as a Secretary General of the Student Union while I was there. I was served also as a footballer and a football captain. Apart from that, of course, as you can see, I'm a founder of a political party that I started, and of course, I reached at the provisional level of a political party registration. It was called Accountability and Transparency Party. I'm a presidential aspirant in this current election, the August election. As you can see now, I'm in my barber shop, so I'm a barber also, and I'm also a cobbler. And yeah, all this is what I do. I am going for the presidency because I believe the problem of Africa and every country trickle down. It starts from the presidency, from the top down, because all the elected positions, be it a member of parliament or even a member of county assembly, these are officials or leaders who are there to help the president execute his duties. And therefore, the agenda of a president is what runs the country. The president and the executive is what, of course, they propose what they need for a country, and therefore they take it to the legislative houses, at least for the legislative houses to approve and help the president execute his duty. For a long time, as you can see in all African continent today, the leaders in African continent actually are not in touch with the reality where the majority of citizens suffer from. And therefore, the policies that they try to direct in terms of governance of a country are not in tandem with what the citizens go through. And this has led to serious borrowing as they try to, of course, sustain their livelihood. And therefore, majority of us, the poor people, are now suffering as we pay more and heavily through taxation to sustain their lifestyle that they, of course, want to sustain forever. And that's why I feel that as a young person who go through what I go through at the ordinary citizen level, is a time that I'm the only person who know what we go through here. And I'm the only person who can go to this position as a president and execute what the majority of young people or even ordinary citizens like myself go through. That's why I go for the presidency. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pigbin, for that quick update, and why, of course, you also told us the motivation behind and what you are going to bring on the table when you run for the president. Now, going back to the young being used, or a young, in Kenya, you will tell us what is the age. There's a standard, of course, set by the African Union. The age is to call use young people in Africa between 18 to 35, if that is the same in Kenya, and if that's where your age lies. Maybe you don't have to tell us a specific, but I know you are the youngest presidential runner. So now, given the population in Kenya, I think close to, if I'm wrong, please correct me, like around 70% or even more is a young population. And out of that, 75% of the youth lives in rural area. Now, when a person runs for a president, there is a lot of campaign involved in, whether it is in person or in, using technology. Isn't your campaign challenged is not it will not be challenged by things like this? How do you really reach out for the young population? Are those your targets anyway?
Thank you very much again for that question, Malet. As you have indicated, of course, a youth is a person that is between the age of 18 to age of 35. A young person can be either be young, as those who are at age of 50 still call themselves that I'm young, I'm youthful. But we are talking of a youth who is between the age of 18 and 35. As you have indicated in your statistics, of course, over 75% of course, Kenya and the African continent are below the 35 years age. And of course, about 65% are between the age of 18 to 35. And therefore, of course, they're the biggest population and the biggest majority. In my country, the constitution allows anybody at the age of 18 and above to go for all elective positions and any elective position, including the president. The previous constitution that we are having as a country was limiting us for presidency position. Of course, you are supposed to be of age 35 and above for you to run for the presidency. But the new constitution that we got, of course, around 2010 allows anybody above age of 18 to go for any position. Yes, of course, as you've said, I'm not running for president because I have the millions that are supposed to be used for campaign. I'm making a step of faith and, of course, a step that shows how I'm, of course, aggrieved, of course, with so many challenges we go through as ordinary citizens. So I'm not in the race because I feel that I have enough money that can make me win. I'm in the race because I feel that it is very necessary that I come out to represent the majority of my fellow young people and the ordinary citizens that who suffer down there and don't believe in themselves that they can make it. Of course, as you've said, of course, majority of the youth in my country are in rural areas. And of course, I'm trying to use the social media as much as possible. And where I'm able to save something a little, I'm able to visit some counties in the villages and talk to them. So I'm running this, and my campaign, I'm only walking by foot. So if I get to a town, I walk around 3 hours as I try to send my manifesto and my agenda and talk to the people about the current situation that we're going through and share with them the problems and agree together how we are going to move forward. So basically that's what I do. But I can say, yes, it's a serious challenge on how I can move myself around the country vis-a-vis the people who have billions ready for the campaign.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Brother Pigbin, for that. Now, Kenya is getting ready to elect its fifth president, right? In one of your interview, I read this, I'm quoting a media or an article in this, you said that you're calling for the Kenyans to vote irrespective of tribe, gender, and age. But the history of election in Kenya tell us otherwise. Whenever election comes, tribe seems the shelter for the runners to hide in. So how is it different for you, where a tribe is highly hyped during election? How are you, how are you going to make it, since yours is irrespective of all this?
Of course, I also have to admit that the tribe has been playing a serious role in the politics of my country. But of course, for a period of time, let me tell you, since independence, 60 years down the line, there are only two tribes that have been running this country because of their numbers. The two tribes in my country have been controlling this country in the last 60 years since independence. And of course, we believe that it's a high time that, of course, that maybe tribes have to take also the position. But I'm not basing my campaign in terms of tribe, because irrespective of the tribes you belong to, none of our citizens are benefited because the president belongs to their tribe. It's only the few people surrounding the president and their families that get the benefit of their son being elected. But I'll tell you, like now, the current president is coming from a Kikuyu community. All Kikuyu buy the same flour at the same amount I buy as also a Luo. All Kalenjins who have the deputy president in my country suffer the same thing and buy everything at the same cost. So there's nothing, of course, that the tribe has been able to achieve for the ordinary citizens and the young people of this country. But of course, the big politicians have been using tribe as a stepping stone for them to be in offices. I therefore do not subscribe to the tribe politics, but I subscribe that we as the young people, irrespective of the tribe you belong to, you are a young person. And therefore, that's why we are 65%. If we can unite in the base of our age and produce the leadership that this country requires, then we can move forward. I'm also basing my campaign in the class factor. The poor are poor whether you belong to the tribe of the president or you belong to the tribe of the deputy president, you are poor. And the fact that the president belongs to your tribe does not make you rich. And therefore, we, the poor, also must be able to come together to ensure that we can be leaders and change what we go through. Because it's very clear in the last 60 years that this rich class will not change anything on our behalf. And therefore, our unity together as the poor and the young people is beyond the unity of tribe, because there's nothing the tribe has benefited us for the last years that we've gained our independence.
Yeah, indeed, very powerful. I agree with that. Now, most of the time we hear you repeatedly, you saying that you are bringing alternative choice for presidency in this election. What do you mean by that exactly?
I'm trying to present an alternative. The politics of my country has been occupied by same individuals or same families or same faces. The current opposition leader in my country has been in this race for the last 30 years, close to 35 years. The current president is a son of the first president of this country. The current deputy president has been in politics since 1982 and 1992. So these are same faces that have been in this leadership at different capacities. And therefore, I'm bringing an alternative and another choice that has not been in this leadership and in these elections. And therefore, I say that mine is to present an alternative. It's upon the citizens to choose an alternative that they can base themselves and that can help them. If they choose a wrong alternative, they'll suffer peacefully again, and they'll not have any excuse to complain, because there was an alternative, a better alternative, but they did not choose that. So I'm giving that alternative leadership a new breed of leadership and a new name that has not been in the narrative of politics of this country for the last 30 years.
Interesting. You actually answered my next question, because I was going to ask how optimistic you are, because of all those runners are older in their age and have been in politics for more than 2 decades or even 3 decades. So we have seen that, or I have read, okay, let me say this. I have read that you said you are willing to create alliance with others, but you made exceptions, which is the Raila Odinga and William Ruto. Except those, you're willing to create alliance with others runners in this upcoming election. And I saw that in the presidential candidates, there's also one young person, maybe a bit older than you, but still in the age of youth, is running by the name Brian Adua or something. Are you talking between each other? So is there such an initiative that you are trying to create alliance? If so, with who and how? What is based on? What is your selection?
Yes, you've quoted it right that I said, and I'm repeating, I will not make alliance with Raila Odinga or William Ruto. They are our oppressors, and therefore I'm trying to liberate ourselves from the oppressors. I cannot make alliance with the oppressors unless I'm an oppressor like themselves. And I believe, of course, in alternative alliances. As the man you've mentioned, Brian Awonda, is my friend, and we do talk a lot. The only problem in my country that we all belong to the same tribe, and therefore they cannot have the same tribe, whether being a president and a deputy president. But of course, we talk and we share same platforms together. There's another young lady who is also going for the presidency, and there's another young man also is going for presidency. Having now a group of all young aspirants, irrespective of their political parties and their positions they are going for. I'm uniting them under a movement I'm calling Youth for Youth movement. And so far, I'm having 150 young aspirants going for different positions. I want us to unite together, campaign together, and work together so that we can reduce the heavy cost of politics that is hindering many of young people to be in political positions. So through our unity, we can be able to walk around and ensure that we increase our representation, with our target being the 70% of the next leaders must be youth. So I'm looking forward to, of course, partner with any other person. So far as you know, I've not selected a running mate who will be my deputy for this election, and it's because I don't want a running mate who will run away from me. I rather need a running mate who will walk with me this journey. And majority of people in this country are bought easily. They can be bought and be given some money by those guys you are mentioning, and they walk away. So I'm looking for spirited and actually somebody who commit to revolution and true leadership and alternative. So I'm still open to some talks, and I'm talking with some few guys around. If we can work together this journey together, well and good. If they cannot work with me this journey together, we'll meet at the ballot. I'll be there and they'll be there, and we'll see who will make it.
Very interesting, really. You told me now, actually, you are even more than two. So, like 3 young people running for president right now in Kenya, right? So that makes you 3 young people, or is it more?
Yeah, that's true. We are so far the three of us. I don't know if they have sent their document because you see, you need also to send your letter for approval. So me, I sent my letter for approval last week, and my approval will be coming out this week. So I'm not sure if also they send their letters or they are just by side shows. They are only saying they are going, and they, indeed maybe they are not going. Because even in the top senior people in this country, we are having over 11 aspirants who are going for the presidency, and those senior guys who are older than us have all moved to support the two front runners. They call them the 2 horses, and I say that it's not a matter of the horses, because we, the citizens, is moving. We are so concerned with the direction they're taking us to. So over 10 aspirants who had indicated their interest to go for the presidency have joined Raila Ruto and supported them. So they are coming as a cocoon of the old that are trying to retain the status quo, and that's why we are also trying to form the cocoon of the young that are trying to revolt against the old.
But let me ask you this. I mean, it seems a very interesting development in Kenya or even in Africa. I didn't research good, but to my knowledge so far, as per my reading, I haven't seen, such a young people. I mean, if not one, not two, but 3 people running for president in Kenya. What is shifting there? What is the change? What do you think, more people are running for president? I mean, young people, and what, so that other African people can learn from this.
It has done to the young people that you see when a government promised the youth that you go and get educated, then over a period of time you realize there are so many graduates who are learned and they don't have jobs. And in fact, the deputy president of my country gives young people a wheelbarrow, and telling them that any job is a job. Take a wheelbarrow and work with a wheelbarrow. How do you tell a graduate to take a wheelbarrow? Then the current opposition leader, which is interestingly, the opposition leader is in touch and in the same bed with the president, and therefore the current president is preferring the opposition leader to take over from him, and now the deputy president is now the opposition leader, out of mistrust. And in fact, even the majority of citizens did not turn out to register as voters, and maybe they might not be coming out in large number if they don't see an alternative, because they believe that these are the same guys who have been giving them lies forever, and therefore they will not wake up any day again to trust their lies. And that's why the young people are making steps that we are not going to sit and listen to these old men promising us fake things every day without fulfilling. We are going to give ourselves to the ballot, and we are going to ask our young people to support us. And if they don't want to support us, at least we shall have provided an alternative to our citizens. So this is why young people are coming out. It's out of mistrust, it's out of frustration, and out of serious and series of lies that come out in the name of manifestos of most of the big political players in this country.
How it has been for you and for other also young presidential runners, the perception of the Kenyan people, were they supportive? This would be interesting to know. And what kind of support or opposition? Tell us what has been the perception.
Of course, it has not done to the young people clearly that we can make the alternative leadership. I sat down with some rich men and they told me that the problem of this country is the poor men, not even the rich men. The poor men who make silly decisions based on some few hundred shillings that they are given for supper and decide to elect leaders who actually make them suffer forever. And therefore, it's until the poor men accept that they have to support their fellow poor people without asking for money or handouts in rallies, then this country can change. So, of course, some of the people see us like, oh, you people, you better have started from a lower seat like an MCA or a member of parliament. Why are you going for presidency? Others have a perception that in my country, the presidency is being given by people we call the deep state, some cabal of businessmen who sit around and control the businesses, and the people hand over power to the preferred candidates. And therefore, there is a mixed reaction. And even the young people are struggling even to get media visibility. For you even to get an interview in the main media station is very hard. In fact, you have either to pay or or even struggle many years are benefiting out of that, because every day, every newspaper is about them. Every news in this country is about them. While as the alternative leadership, we don't have any platform. So we are more of disadvantage, of course. And the community has a mixed reaction. There are people who are saying, indeed, tell them that, because what you're going through is really serious and we are ready to work with you. Other people still say that you people are dreaming and therefore you should start from the lower position instead of going for upper positions. So it's a mixed reaction. I cannot say that it's a straight support per se, but it's mixed. But there's also so many young people who have been inspired. Like 3 days ago, I got a young man who is at the age of 20 years old. He's going for a member of county assembly, and he told me that I'm inspired by your position and what you are doing, and I'm going as a member of county assembly. There's a young person at the age of 26 using a motorcycle, in fact, a bicycle. I've been walking on foot, and I want to be a president talking. So there are many people are coming, and the reaction is mixed.
Great. No, good to know that. Tell me, you say that again. I'm quoting from media written about you from articles. You said 70% the government will be made up of, if you are elected, real hustlers. What does that mean?
Oh, there's a term used in our country by the president, deputy president started this term, that hustlers means the poor people. And therefore, as a deputy president who is having a chopper and a V8 and big Land Cruisers, he is calling himself a hustler. So to our country, a hustler must particularly be referred to the poor people. But in another term, the hustler means somebody who rob people, somebody who steal from people, and somebody who kill people. But in my country, the term hustler is being referred to the majority poor people. That's what it means.
Very interesting. You coined it in a right way. All right. Now tell me, in the last election, I remember there was, I think that's 2017. There was a huge mobilization on social media, which says by the hashtag tribeless use Kenya. Now, is there such a mobilization now on social media? If so, what is the hashtag? And also, what do you expect from other people, from the nation in Kenya or the Kenyan nation, or also from the youth, from the Pan-Africans? What's your expectation? So we know how to help you or support you.
Thank you very much, Marlet, for that question. I'll say that, of course, there have been serious efforts to demystify the tribal factor in this election, because we had an experience in 2007 post-election violence that was agitated by the tribes, whereby some tribes killed other tribes seriously, and therefore we even came up with a national anti-coercion commission, and they check even statements that can maybe come from leaders that provoke violence. So like even 2 days ago, they had classified some words and some slang languages that are used for politics as illegal, and therefore all politicians are not allowed to use some words in the political rallies because they are perceived to be illegal or tribal or maybe chaotic. So there's also a big problem, which is party politics, and that party politics is also running away. It's not a must that you go with a political party. You can be independent on your own. So many people are also running to independent choices, like myself. I'll be a president as an independent candidate, so that we can be able to mobilize each other and move forward. The reason why people are moving to independent sector is because the political parties in my country are lacking ideologies, and their ideologies are based on the interests of their party leaders and their party officials. So it's not about the party ideology. So that is one of the direction we are moving towards. And I'll say that, of course, there are problems. In the 2017 election, that election was nullified. It was the first election to be nullified in Africa for president. The court ruled that election was null and void, and it did not follow the procedures, and therefore there was another request for a repeat of a presidential election. So I will say that, of course, the election body that managed the country election is also trying to assure that they are going to be transparent and, of course, integral enough. But there are still some claims that the big class and the ruling class and the president might have an hand there to force the prime minister, the opposition leader, to be the president and to be successful. He has come out as the president, has come out clearly to say we are ready to face this race as citizens of this country. And I believe the citizens' voice counts, and that's why I'm presenting myself on the ballot alongside so many other people. The support I need from the citizens is simple. I only need their vote, nothing else. I might not be happy that the payment they're given by the politician cannot change their life. In fact, those politicians mess their life completely after paying them. And what I need from them is only their support through the ballot, that they come out peacefully and vote me in so that we can solve this problem. Other support I need from, of course, Pan-Africanists and friends who are around. This journey is somehow hectic a bit, and as you have seen, I'm an ordinary citizen who is just a cobbler and a barber, trying to save some little amount to sustain myself in this race. And therefore, any little support that can come to me in terms of either advices or financial support that can help me even move from one county to another to increase my visibility, I'll highly appreciate and accept. But I'm in this race, I'm ready to do all that it takes, I'm ready to sacrifice all that it takes to provide an alternative to my people, so that my people have a choice to make, whether they want to suffer forever or to change the system.
Very interesting. That hit me, my brother. You said, I'm an ordinary citizen who is a barber and a cobbler, but who's trying to make a change. I mean, you are indeed, I mean, I don't know if you have any idea how many young people sit and look at you, and you will be their inspiration. I mean, you just an ordinary citizen, as you said, but you are making this happen. You know, as we have discussed before, I'm sure there is the people that run with you, that you compete with, that you race with, are older people who have been in politics for decades, for more than 3 decades, and who have sponsors and who backs them up, business people. Now, you know, to compete with them might be difficult, but still, you know, you are determined to make that challenge and to show your people that it is possible, not only your people in Kenya, but for the young people. Now, with that, I want to ask you, considering that challenge, if you don't make it, meaning if you don't become a president, there is certainly in your mind, there is this legacy I'm going to leave for my people. This is also, you know, and what is that legacy? And what do you want to say for people, you know, for the young people? There are many, I am sure, who wants to make a change, who wants to run, but before even they started, they get discouraged because they see same old politicians. Yeah. Over to you.
I will say that as an ordinary citizen, I live below $2 in a day, close to $3 if I try in a day. But I'm trying to balance $3 to ensure that I work on food for 4 hours to campaign for myself. What can stop you from going out and campaigning? If you wait for sponsors and billionaires to support you, forget about that. If they support you as billionaires, they'll make you their puppet. And once you get elected, the best you do is to serve their interest. And their interest is always against the interests of the citizens of this country. Their interest is to loot continuously and to continue. Don't come out for positions and elected positions because you feel that you have a financial muscle. If you feel you are tired, make a step. Keep moving. Even if you fail in the process, at least you've tried your best and people can see that really you made a step. That's what I'm trying to do. Even if I fail before I make it to the ballot, I've made a step. If I fail by the ballot, I made a step. I will not, of course, walk away from my beliefs and from my principles as a leader. I'm ready to try the presidency, even if it takes 7 times to wait. I'll always be on the ballot until the day you people will feel like, as the citizen of this country, that it's right time now we give this young man the leadership position to run this country. So I am positive and aware that there's a failures at the ballot, but those failures do not distract me to offer that solution and offer that alternative. I'm ready to be there, and I'm ready to still stand even after, if I happen to fail, I'm ready to stand again and still represent what I believe in. And I ask every citizen in this country, see how I'm sacrificing as a cobbler, just to provide you an alternative on the ballot so that you can have a reason why you should vote. Kindly don't sleep. If I'm on the ballot, wake up and do your best to ensure that we can change this country. Today we are suffering because of leadership that we were not suffering before. And if we make another mess, The future is in our hands as the young people. How will we survive in the next 30 years coming? Of course, these leaders have maybe 5 years to survive, and after all, they have billions, they can survive. But how are we going to survive? Everything in my country is private. There's a private hospital, the roads are private, the schools are private. Now everything is private. If you cannot afford any money, today you die because you cannot afford healthcare. If you don't have money, your kid will not go to school. And we don't have anything. We're suffering. So this is what I'm giving to citizens. It's their choice to make as deliberate choice whether to emancipate themselves from this process or to continue being enslaved in this process.
Thank you very much, brother Pigbin. You're truly an inspiration. It was really a pleasure for me to sit and listen to you, and I definitely want to bring you again and again. For people to listen to you and to learn from you, to hear your story, and we wish you, we wish you all the best, and we will definitely have you again at Connect Africa. And yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Marlet. We always believe to liberate Africa. My last parting shot, I'll say that the problem Kenya is going through is the same problem Ethiopia is going through, is the same problem Uganda is going through, is the same problem every country in Africa. Yes, I'm saying the problem Kenya is going through is the same problem Ethiopia is going through, is the same problem Uganda is going through, is the same problem Sudan, Nigeria, Ghana, and South Africa is going through. It is upon the young people in those countries to wake up and sacrifice themselves to liberate Africa. All African countries are colonized or neo-colonized because we are not economically independent. Therefore, we cannot be politically dependent. Our politics are controlled by the people who sponsor us, the International Monetary Body, the Chinese who are coming with SAPs and structural adjustment program that are making us to be heavily taxed. Our brothers are dying at the red as they cross over to Europe, and others are enslaved. We are running away from Africa. Why should we run away from Africa? Africa is our country. Africa is our continent. Let's do our best, and slowly, step by step, we will one day reach there. I'll advise Africans not to follow the revolution via coups and the street revolutions. Because one thing we've realized that those revolutions are successful, but those systems and the people in the system we fight against always take over the same advantage and become the same president. For example, in Zimbabwe, we removed Mugabe and the deputy president became the president, and they're still suffering up to date. Let's have revolution via ballot, the peaceful revolution. The problem we created via ballot must only be solved via ballot, not via bullets. So let's take that advantage.
As said to that, there's nothing I will add on that. Thank you. It was a pleasure to have you, brother Pigbin. Wish you all the best again, and we definitely will have you here again. Thank you.